right. Hello. This is Midday Repartee. How is everybody doing? Joined today by my Thursday co-host, Russ Leach. How are you holding up, sir?
Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it
Nice.
is. I can't quite remember. It's just a blur at the moment. But
Yeah.
yes, hello. You have the most brilliant intro credits. I love them.
Oh, yeah? Nice. Cool.
It's like watching a program on the telly. It's
Oh,
great.
cool.
I,
Yeah,
I would put
I
them
try
up
and...
there with. Sorry, I'd put them up there with just some guy.
Oh, okay.
As far as engaging intro credits are concerned,
Nice,
I
nice.
really like them.
I never, it's odd. You don't really get much feedback on stuff like that. So I was
Mm.
just like, I create stuff like that mostly just for my own amusement and enjoyment, and I'm glad that hopefully people dig it.
I love having an intro into rather than just starting a stream.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like that.
And I
Really,
love,
really. I wish I could do it myself, but
I always make stuff too long-winded, so I really like if I want to have it loaded directly into StreamYard, I love that 30-second limitation. Again,
mm,
the power of limitation when creating things is really great.
yes.
It's really great. Samir, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Did you check
Good.
out the new Cyberpunk trailer that just came out?
What's it for?
The new Cyberpunk trailer, the
Oh,
game
no,
that
I have not seen it. I have not seen the newest trailer. Is it on?
they
Game.
they really
I would play it here, but YouTube apparently, you know how they are about trailers.
yeah,
You can't even show a
but,
trailer without getting hit now.
yeah. But they really did something really smart in the in that trailer they showed. Keanu Reeves has his own bike company, right? With
Right.
custom bikes. So they actually asked him to use. They actually asked him to use his bikes for modding also and for the sounds. So he rode his bike and he was recording all the sounds for the Cyberpunk game.
Beautiful.
So
That is really
yeah,
cool.
none. Yeah, that was really smart. Most game companies don't engage in the actors' other hobbies, so they actually got like it was advertising for his motorbike company, and they got like I bet they got like if they actually asked somebody else like BMW or any other company to use their bikes for, I bet it would have been like a lot of money for them. So
Yeah,
this was
right.
like, okay, we'll hire this actor and get his bikes also.
Unreal. So smart. And, he's obviously, he's going to sell a bike or two through it. I mean, this is going to be the biggest game maybe in the history of gaming. I don't know. The hype around it is surreal. It's insane. I don't know that anything can live up to that kind of hype, but I do believe that CD Projekt Red is more than capable of delivering satisfaction to people. It's going to be
Yeah,
good. It's going to be good.
Mm,
Um,
I won't be
and
playing it.
one really good indicator of just how good it will be is that mainstream journalism, mainstream video game journalists are attacking it.
Oh, I
That
might
tells
play
you,
it then.
yeah, it's like, well, geez, I can't get a better recommendation than that. At this point.
I'm not. I played Doom Eternal
Oh yeah,
because it's really nice and simple. It's like point and click. Go and kill those things.
yeah, it's
Like
nice to play a game like
yeah,
that these days,
I'm
where
old
it's
like that. I
well,
can't be
it's
doing with that shit. Open world? No. It's like driving games. Just take me to the next race, will you? I don't want to drive around for half an hour trying to find a race.
yeah, I
Just
get
take me
that.
to the race.
I think that's
I want a
yeah,
game
I
like
think
this.
video game companies have forgotten that there are many different types of people that enjoy different things, and a lot of gamers really miss the simple games of the
Yeah,
past, where it's like just
yeah,
because you can have this ultra complex world and playground with all these things that you have to keep. It doesn't mean that everybody wants that all the time. Sometimes,
mm,
like you're saying, you just want to go to the next race. You want something
yeah,
that you can engage for 20, 30 minutes.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big deal.
That's exactly it. I can't engage for longer than that because my old
Yeah,
brain just blows up.
yeah,
So, and I don't physically have the time to play games, to be honest, at the moment.
yeah. I'm
Um,
with you there. Exactly.
but when I do, I just want to sit down and like let it flow over me. You know, you want to remove yourself. And if you're thinking about, well, I've got to go and speak to that person, and then I've got to go on that side quest, and or if I want to find a race, I've literally got to go and find it and flash my lights at the AI. It's like, no, just put me on the track, will you?
Yeah,
Jesus.
yes.
But there you go.
I get that. I get that big time.
It's just me being old.
I don't think so. I actually, one of the things I'm going to show a little bit later, connecting to the main topic, is kind of exactly about that. It's, you know, this drive, this kind of push to constantly get more money out of the consumer, out of the person who's bought your product. It's like games used to be this, they were a completed thing. You purchased it, that's what it was, and you just played it. And it once you bought it, that's what it was. Yeah. And now it's like, you pay full price for this thing, and then you have to keep feeding it money for other things. It's just such a destructive thing to me.
At the very least, you need to download a patch for it as soon as you put it into your bloody console. What is the point of consoles if every time you put a game on, you have to get it down? I don't understand. I'd much rather have a system, which it looks like Microsoft are doing, that you buy everything online. Yeah, I'd rather do that than have a physical media, put it in, and be told I have to wait half an hour before I can bloody play it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that because it's, you know, I think there's some pluses, but I think there are some big minuses coming with that stuff too. But we'll talk about this. I thought this was, I guess with this, I'm just like, what kind of soulless human being doesn't want to get in the middle of this thing that could just walk by it? I don't get it. Like if I'm walking by this thing, I want to get right in the middle there and like
what
that's like
what does that feel like right in the middle of that? What is
so this guy like
you're
just gonna walk on by like it's not happening, and maybe this is a daily occurrence. I kind of doubt it.
I would have to walk right through the middle of it. I'd be compelled to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's stuff like that. You can learn a lot from people by watching that kind of behavior. So the people who just ignore it and walk by, I'm like, I don't need to talk to that person. I think I'm good. But like the person who tries to get in the middle and raises up their arms and like has a moment, I'm like, that's the one. That's the person that's probably interesting right there.
Probably the person that's most likely to steal your wallet while you're asleep as well.
Right. Oh, shit.
You have a mind of the curiosity of a kid, then you're gonna appreciate all of it. Like that's something I really appreciate about kids. Like kids, like everything they see is new, and when they see something like that, it's like the most wonderful thing in the world. Like a simple wind and stuff moving around.
Yeah. What was that ridiculous scene? Now it's ridiculous now anyway. What is like American Beauty or something? The plastic bag just endlessly fluttering in the wind. Just such a deep moment. Oh man! And
back when the world was good.
Could get into that. I want that on a loop for like an hour. Come on.
Oh god, they had really skinny legs.
Yeah, right.
Badass.
They were very skinny.
So this guy, I can never remember this actor's name. He was in, I think he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in the new Dune movie coming out. I don't really. He's always saying some stupid shit.
What, Batista?
Yeah. He describes Trump supporters as small crowds of idiots.
Really?
There's 4 words, and he makes 2 mistakes. There's 2 falsehoods in 4 words. Small crowds, that's incorrect.
Yeah.
Like literally, a boat parade, a Trump rally boat parade broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest boat parade in the history of humanity. So that's just one thing. And then, I mean, idiots. Is this This is the best he could come up with.
What I think what I've found, what I've seen to happen over the last 10 years is just this ability for people to turn even more into sheep than they used to be.
Yeah.
And this is not it's not my opinion about politics or anything else. I'm completely neutral, to be honest, because I think the whole thing is a fucking rigged game. Okay. But for you to buy into the mainstream media, buy into whatever political party or political leader that you think is like the next big thing, and be completely blinded to any kind of human kindness. I mean, I think some people who think certain things are probably a little bit silly, and I'm calling them sheep. Okay, but that's a very vast generalization. I wouldn't pick a bunch of people out and say you are idiots,
right?
Yeah, because I don't know their stories. I don't know. I mean, even down to Batista. I mean, maybe he was fondled as a child. I don't know. He might have his own story as to why he's calling these people idiots. So I've got to give even him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's something. Why does he think that way? Is he just completely part of the Hollywood mindset that's that feels like he has to? Does he feel like he must say this in order to get his next job? Does he really believe that? Is he a cruel man? Is he a nice man underneath it? I don't know any of those things.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I find deeply concerning about all of it, is the way that people can just brush other people away and say, oh, well, they're scum.
Right. Yeah.
I just, where's everybody's decency gone? Have a discussion, whether it's political, religious, emotional, whatever it might be. Have a discussion, agree to disagree, and move on. Surely we can all move. Surely the things that, all these idiots, these small crowds of idiots, surely even those idiots must have more in common with the humanity of Dave Bautista than things they don't have in common, because we're all human. It's like, what is wrong with everybody? Oh dear.
I kind of prefer actors when they're like, for example, Robert Downey Jr. and Henry Cavill. They both are really silent on the political point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer that. And there was this interview with Robert Downey Jr. and this really arrogant interviewer. He was trying to pin him to and like get him to reveal which side he was on, and it like Robert Downey Jr. reaction was pretty awesome. He was annoyed. He was annoyed. Let's talk about the movie. Why are you talking about this? Talk about the movie. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Just like, so stop trying to pin me down. Stop trying to put politics into everything. Why don't we just get on with life? Politics used to be a thing that you complained about and voted once every 5 years or whatever it is. It never used to run people's lives the way it does currently.
Yeah, it's really. I don't know, man. I do hear what you're saying, and I'm sure that I'm guilty of doing kind of what you're saying at times with people.
We all are, to a degree.
Yeah.
All of us. I'm not saying that I'm aware. Right. All I'm saying is trying to understand that we are all guilty of that to a degree, and just being open-minded enough to feel compassion for your fellow person, not just say, "Oh, they're all a bunch of idiots."
Yeah.
It's,
and it's what's interesting too to me is that this new Dune film, it really, a lot of people, just at least looking at the trailers and what it's presented so far, they're saying, this looks pretty based. This looks pretty. I think a lot of conservative-minded people are really drawn. Dune has always, I think that it's very appealing to that cross section of people. So for one of the actors in it it makes no sense. I don't understand why a studio would allow or encourage or want an actor to alienate possibly the biggest percentage of people that want to see this thing with a statement like this. This is what's so odd to me about what's going on over the last decade.
Look at our conversation now. You're framing in what you were saying there. You were framing about potential conservative people watching the film. and we're talking about this actor coming out and saying all these people are whatever they are. Did you ever hear anything like that about Star Wars? The original films.
No, of course not.
Or about, the old James Bonds or the, whatever film, like Sophie's Choice, Lord of the Rings. It doesn't matter what you say, like all of it. Nobody ever said, what kind of political audience is this film for? It was entertainment.
Correct, right. Yeah. I mean, I think we never had the conversations before because the actors and people involved with those things and those properties never made it a point to insult potential customers. Like it just wasn't a thing that was happening, at least not on this level. So, I do see what you're saying. It's
for some reason.
I linked it to you, Rob, but Joe Biden's doing a Animal Crossing session with Greg Miller.
Animal Crossing?
I sent you the banner, dude.
Where did you send it?
Twitter.
In my just like notifications? Am I just tagged or in my DM?
I just at you.
Okay.
Down with the kids, Joe. It's just hideous, isn't it? What is wrong with the world?
Yeah. Didn't Hillary Clinton do something like this also?
Greg Miller even goes, AOC, let me know if you want to be a part of this.
Let's check this out.
Sorry.
Okay. The official what? No way, man.
This is not a parody.
Didn't they say that CERN was about to open up a connection to an alternative universe?
Yeah.
I think actually there's a time delay, and this happened 10 years ago, or whenever CERN was turned on first time round. You got get that time loop thing that it was turned on, but actually the events take place now when they turn it on again. And we were all shoved into this alternative universe where everything is completely fucking mad.
Yeah, it's all inverted. It's insane. Yeah, and again, right now I'm awfully tempted to call a certain cross section of people idiots. I'm not going to do it, but it's there.
To be honest, that's pretty fair. The legal medical term for anybody who was had an IQ 71 or less was an idiot. Anybody who just didn't function right was just retarded.
Right.
And before that, they were just called mongoloid idiots. So it's either mongoloid idiots or idiots.
Jesus Christ.
I hate everything about AOC, but there's one thing I'll say about AOC. At least she's consistent, and she is connected to her audience through social media. That is one thing I'll say about her, but something I'll respect about her. I hate everything about her. I hate her politics. But whenever she goes on, I think she's on Twitch, or does she stream from Twitter or something like that? She streams. She connects with her audience. Joe Biden suddenly decided, okay, I'm going to play this famous video game, which is not even famous anymore. I think I think this trend is over. Now people are playing Amongst Us and stuff like that.
Yeah. People like Biden are always like decades late to everything, man. They can never be early or on time to any trend. He's so
just
hilarious.
doing what his handler tells him to do.
Yeah.
It's politics. It's all rubbish.
Yeah.
They do what they need to do to get into power, and that's it. And once they're in power, they don't have any real solutions. Oh dear. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The problem that I have with either side, in whether it's the States, which obviously I don't know a huge amount because I live here, or in the UK, is not the choice that the electorate make. It's the choice that the electorate are given. It's just crap. Like in your country, you've got what, 750 million people live in the United States, and you got Clinton and Trump in the last election.
I know. It's like really. Yeah.
And I got Bojo and some stupid twat from Islington, and it's like, What? Seriously?
Yeah,
What?
I guess the exclusive club membership where people are available that can be trusted to be a president of a country is pretty small. It's a pretty limiting thing. We all know it's a club. I mean,
yeah.
And anyone, Trump might be. Obviously, I like Trump. In a lot of ways. I think he's hilarious. I think the way he deals with the media is hilarious. At least he's run businesses and understands maybe a little bit about how the world works and understands the importance of human labor and all these things. But to think that someone like Trump is going to be a savior, to think that he's not in the same exact club as the rest of them he's
in the billionaire
It's ridiculous.
Club. He's in the club. He's in the elite club. And over in the UK, it's a bunch of Etonian toffs who have been told since they were kids that they're supposed to lead the country. That's the bottom line. That's the way it works. And they couldn't lead their way out of a fucking plastic bag. They're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
The people we've got in charge. Yeah. People we've got in charge in our parliament right now are proof, that evolution doesn't work. Absolutely,
it's not working. Darwin, what the fuck?
Well,
Dave, how you doing?
To be honest, during ancient royalty, even the rich, there was a lot of practice of inbreeding around until they realized that's a terrible idea. Our kids are coming out retarded.
There's a lot of web feet. Yeah.
Well, I think we also have to look at what kind of people are drawn to wanting to spend a lifetime in politics. That's a certain breed of animal, right? It's
people that ain't good at anything else.
I was about nice one, Dave.
Maybe.
I was about to say people who could not possibly do anything useful.
Yeah, maybe a little obsessed about popularity, vanity, perhaps. I mean, I'm trying to think back to the early stages. It's usually people that wanted to do that in high school.
It's showbiz for ugly people.
It's maybe there was that occasional person who I just really want to make things better, but it's I think it has to do with other qualities in people more often than not, and so these are the people we get.
Yeah, I think it's a different power. I think it's all that.
Oh, go on, Samir. Go on, you go, mate.
Sorry, Dave. You can speak. I was done.
Oh, okay.
Somebody speak for fuck's sake.
Well, over here you can do a degree in politics now, which I find absolutely fucking ridiculous. And it's so stupid. As soon as they started becoming full-time politicians, they all got shit.
Mm-hmm. And Biden he's done nothing else in his life but suck on that government teat.
So what makes him fit to do anything?
He isn't.
Hold any of these positions.
He doesn't.
He's got no reason, none at all.
It used to be the case you could only be a leader if everybody felt the butt of your axe.
Right.
And that's that's why I am a man lost in time.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't feel right. Leaders need to lead.
I wanted to apologize to, I think it was Greg. He was like, I can't escape politics today. The main topic of the day is not going to be politics, but we kind of just ramble a little bit, let people show up, and it inevitably winds up, going there.
It's a great segue though, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What do we do next? Oh, I wanted to show this. This is funny. Dave, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just thought I'd jump in there. I've been busy, so I've missed the last couple of shows. So I thought, well, jump in so you guys can remember what the fuck I look like. And
nice.
Just make sure no one forgets this ugly mug of mine.
It's imprinted, mate. It's on the back of my retinas.
I know. All you got to do is hear my beautiful voice, and then it's just
voice. Yeah,
Dave.
So this is one of these, the special level of intelligence required, and I'm not gonna, maybe won't mention the fact that they're wearing their face diaper the whole time. I'm not gonna say that has anything to do with their level of intelligence, but.
Dude, stop it. Sorry.
Is he filling a bag with fluid?
Yeah, with gas. It's gasoline.
No.
Oh my
Yeah, a wicker
God.
basket ought to solve the problem. That's good. That's good.
You sure he's not like a member of Antifa and is going to use that as
More than likely? That
It's
would
a
make
basket
sense.
bomb.
Again, not going to say a group of people are idiots. Not going to do it. But
we can assume.
Is nobody going to tell him?
Was he going to drive off without what?
Gasoline dissolves plastic.
oh God,
It's a basic.
That shit's going to leak all over his trunk.
What a knob.
wow.
Well,
So yeah,
at least it doesn't dissolve Pepsi bottles. That's what I've noticed. I always used to, whenever getting petrol for generator, or maybe diesel does.
Of course it doesn't, because then Pepsi would dissolve it, wouldn't it?
yeah, right.
You see what that stuff can do to you?
Oh man, it's gnarly.
Yeah, it's great. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, another interesting thread is Tommy Lee said he would leave the U.S. if Trump wins the country again.
Yeah, I saw that.
That would be heartbreaking. Man, we'd sure miss you, man.
Oh, and he hasn't made.
What would we do without Tommy Lee hanging out? I don't know. It'd be tough.
Does he
I don't
do
know.
that? You not get a fine if you hang out.
Oh, geez.
And the replies were priceless. Everybody was like, I'm also planning to leave. I'm going to Mexico. You want to go to Mexico?
Good luck with that.
I think at this stage where things are at, it's really important that people maybe start. I understand the kind of enthusiasm about maybe going somewhere else, trying to get somewhere where you feel like you have a better chance with what's maybe about to happen. But at this stage, I think you gotta grow where you are. You've got to start building where you are and investing in the area you're at. Get to know your neighbors. Try to grow some food. Get connected with people who are producing food. Things are going to get a little dicey. You're starting to see real signs of it happening with food pricing on other items. I just found out like lumber, like 2x4s went from like under $2 for a 2x4 to like over $7. I mean, this is a massive 700% increase in lumber costs. All of this stuff is going to start happening, and it's going to accelerate. So, start thinking about where you live, what you can do to be a little bit more self-sustaining and have access to food that isn't from the grocery store. It's going to be important, guys.
Did the lumber had anything to do with that forest fire in California?
They might try to connect it with that, but that's pretty much, how could it really?
I think the price instantly went up when Tommy said he was leaving.
Right, yeah. That's right. So yeah, main topic of the day. Let's get into it. And this is, I've thought about this quite a bit lately, with things moving to the cloud, everything's going digital. We're relying more and more on all this storage up in the cloud. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think this is a good direction? Do you feel comfortable with the way things are moving that way?
No, this is a bad direction. Hate it. I keep everything on my own hard drive. I don't trust the cloud, and if ever I get a chance to turn it off, I do.
Yeah,
basically. I don't trust anyone else with my data.
Yeah, and they can take away everything. Like they can take away your Steam account, and everything you own is just gone.
Yeah,
that is I hate that, and that's why I try to avoid buying anything from Steam.
They have opinions, that's for sure.
Yeah, the dog didn't like it either. No.
Yeah, it really concerns me. I think, I don't know, quite a while ago I made a video about it, but I, as a graphic designer, I pay a fee to have access to a lot of software programs. It's all in the cloud. This is where things are moving, and it's like, okay, but all of these companies tend to be owned by the same, same corporate entities. These are the same entities that are banning people off of Twitter and YouTube and platforms based on your political views. It's like, is this going to... If this starts extending to things like Adobe Photoshop, or InDesign and other software platforms. I mean, if I get blocked from having access to those things, that's my money, that's my income. So this makes me really nervous that these companies will have that kind of control over people.
Yeah, I think this is why I support open source software, especially like Blender. You can download Blender once and you can use it for anything like forever. And they keep updating that software. It's amazing. And this is why I'm constantly looking for an alternative to Photoshop, like Clip Studio. I really prefer Clip Studio over Photoshop just because of the reasons. And and I've been trying to do some flattening, and Photoshop just sometimes just does not work. It's the most expensive software, and like my lasso tool does not work. Okay, so now I have to use the paint tool to make selections. It's really it's really frustrating. Same thing with Maya. Like the Maya is the most expensive software out there, but compared to Blender, Blender has less bugs compared to what Maya has, and it is because Maya is like Autodesk. Their main market is engineers. It's not even designers and entertainment people.
Oh right,
so
that makes sense.
So and they have discontinued their other properties like Soft Image and the other one that they have. Like they keep buying these softwares from independent companies, and then they don't update them either. They just go into the void, and this is why I'm trying to plan to do something with Blender, trying to make a comic using Blender, because I want to bring in that audience also from Blender.
Nice.
You can do amazing stuff in Blender also. That's why I'm experimenting with 3D sculpting and trying to figure out if there's a way I could have print something from it.
Yeah. I think you're really right about that, and I need to start thinking about using an alternative to Photoshop for sure. But the real money maker for me is Adobe InDesign, which is, I don't know that there's a real viable alternative for that software. Maybe there is. I need to look into it, because relying on the cloud, these cloud services, and assuming that they're always going to play fair in terms of who has access to it, I'm not willing to take that risk. Not the way things have been going.
No, I agree. I moved to Clip Studio as well. I'm using an old copy of Photoshop for doing some bits and pieces, but all my
Dave,
main comic book stuff.
I think you got some static or something going on with your audio.
No, it's Samir, I think.
Me?
Could be Samir. Let's see.
His icon pulses when the noise comes on.
Oh, okay. It might be Samir. It might not be you, Dave. Sorry about that. I thought I heard it when Dave first came on.
There's a random dude behind Dave. What the fuck was that about?
It's his clone. He's just swapping. He's swapping positions with his clone. Because he needs to take a rest. Otherwise, he'll melt.
So I know what you guys want for Halloween. This is right here.
Yeah.
That's some jack off material.
Oh, it's a one night stand.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait. She actually has one leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, this is pretty brilliant. People are awesome, man. And that's just
it's got nice legs though.
Through everything going on in the world, it's so the thing to always remember is just how awesome people are. At the end of the day, how creative and awesome so many people in the world are. I try not to forget that in the midst of everything.
Hex Allen Comics. It's a living dad joke. I think that's great.
Yes. I thought this was pretty good too.
Oh, that's awesome.
We like to deep fry shit. I don't know.
Still Smoking, where they had the canvas leaf salad.
Oh, yeah. Right. And of course, the real reason I quit smoking.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, that's what really, it pushed me over the edge. I'm like, yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
She had a terrible ass for a young woman. Jesus.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course,
seems better when ugly people were allowed to make it. It's not wrong.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting aspect, honestly, that probably could be applied to almost anything going on right now, even comic books, because some of the most talented creators might be really bad at coming on YouTube or promoting their work, and we're missing out on that great talent.
I thought you were about to say I was ugly. Sorry.
I don't know. It's
yeah. Entertainment so preferred, isn't it?
Yeah, being in this time where you have to, it's not enough to have this the talent and put in the work to be really good at something. You also have to be this likable person that can present well and promote well and market yourself well. And it's like, that it's probably really limiting our access to the best material, because the people with the most talent might not be rising to the surface. It's something to think about. And
I mean, if you look at all the old Stan Lee footage, he was a promoter. He was out marketing Marvel Comics. He was out having discussions with people. He actually dealt with social justice warriors. I remember it. There's this video available on YouTube when he's in his 40s, and he's dealing with hippies, trying to figure out how he can market his comics to younger people. And they're like, "We hated that you promote war in your comics." And Stan Lee straight up goes, "I don't know if any of my comics glorify war."
Right.
Yeah. Because they didn't. Yeah. Yeah. They might have war in them. Doesn't mean that they're glorified. Go read it. Go get an education, hippie.
Yeah, but even then, these hippies were complaining about his comics being too violent, promoting violence and stuff like that. And Stan Lee's going, my comics don't.
No, exactly. There's a difference between showing it and promoting it. So they all ended up wife beaters anyway. All those hippies,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That whole movement was very interesting. I mean, what a disaster Woodstock was. What a nightmare. I mean, they were using people's lawns as toilets. It was filthy. Just a filthy thing. But of course, that's never presented, There's this guy, we speaking about the cloud and kind of what this is doing to different sectors of entertainment and art. There's this channel called Emp Lemon. He's pretty epic. He does great stuff. I don't know if you've ever heard about him, but
I think you guys already touched on the subject already.
We did a little bit. So I'm going to play a little bit of this, but I do want to talk more about what is this cloud, things that they're never really finished. Like they release a game and it's not its final version yet because they know they can make updates to it after the fact. Yeah.
Cloud gaming's different than the cloud storage.
It is.
Cloud gaming is actually the ability to play video games off of different devices off your console. Especially that's what Xbox trying to market right now.
Yes. But it also kind of negates physical ownership of media.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, I mean, your Super Nintendo had a cartridge. You went out, you bought it. That was your cartridge. You could resell it to someone if you wanted to. You could swap it with someone. You could paint it pink. It was yours. You owned it.
Right.
Now you own nothing.
And that's worrisome. And it's like you never know, it can always be updated, changed. Nothing is ever, it's not static anymore. This goes for film, games, anything. If it's all digital, anything can be manipulated and changed at any time, including literature. And we're already seeing that happen. And that's really destructive to art, in my opinion.
Yeah, I find that more disturbing, actually, than not owning anything.
Yeah.
Is the fact that something might be changed without you realizing it. And because you don't have a version of it, you don't know. Or you don't know until it's too late.
Yeah, and I mean, how important is art in defining a cult? And like, if you're in a historical sense, usually we learn more about a people from their art that they left behind than just about anything else. So if your art is constantly changing or following trends, and it's being updated as you go, like there's no historical context for anything. Like, the art should be there as kind of a historical representation of that time and place. And that could be eradicated with this kind of thing. But here, let's hear what Implement has to say for a minute here.
No audio.
$. This game is regarded by NASCAR fans as... Earlier this summer, I picked up NASCAR Thunder 2004 from a local flea market for $7. This game is regarded by NASCAR fans as the best NASCAR console release of all time. A game that has not been topped more than 17 years after its release. When I played it, I was astounded at the amount of content and gameplay variety available in a 2003 game. Naturally, as we evaluate older media, you have to excuse a certain level of crappiness due to the technical limitations of the era. For example, a movie from 1982 is going to have significantly worse special effects than a movie in the present day, so it's not really fair to judge older works along modern standards. But just as we can forgive old media for their limitations, should we punish new media for a lack of progression? Imagine taking a time machine back to 2003 and telling NASCAR fans, this game right here, this is as good as it's gonna get. It's all downhill from here.
Okay, so yeah, this guy, when he doesn't put out a lot of a huge amount of content, but when he drops a video, it's incredibly well researched and presented. He makes some of the best stuff I've seen. So yeah, I dropped a link in the chat to this guy's channel and this particular video. But it fascinates me that these older a game that old for NASCAR really is still considered the best by fans of that. It's considered to be the best one put out, and it's how can that be possible?
I think it's... Sorry, Gargoyle, you were saying something.
Well, I was just going to say, it's just what he stated right there. It's a lot of content, and it's basically probably they weren't worried about pushing deadlines because they didn't have an internet connection with every console then. That wasn't a market. Nobody really had Wi-Fi in every house.
Yeah. Right.
The difference is games back then didn't have DLC. They were complete games on the disc or the cartridge, depending on what age you were. And now you have to pay for anything extra you need. You have to pay for loot boxes. You have to pay for subscriptions, the online modes or whatever.
Yeah, and often the game isn't even finished properly by the time you buy the product.
That's the big one, man. It's like they just feel like it doesn't have to be. It used to have to be this perfectly polished thing, because if they put it out there and it wasn't, back in the day, that was the end. That was disaster. That was destruction. You were dead. So it had to be
levels of fail.
Yeah, they had to test it thoroughly. It had to be a completely finished, polished product delivered to the consumer. Not the case anymore. Not even close.
My first game was Half-Life. When that was the first game I played, it was the first game that told a story through a narrative. It also had 3 DLC games for it, but those DLCs were sold as separate games, and you didn't even need the old games to play the new one.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what annoys me the most about it, though, is when you buy a game these days and then you put it in your PlayStation and then you have to download a patch straight away of like 5-10 gigabytes because they didn't finish the game or something wasn't working before they put it on the disc.
What annoys me
every time, you just
annoys...
expect it now. You put in the game and you're like, you kind of calculate. It's probably going to be a half hour before I can play this.
Battlefield 5 was the worst for that. I feel bad for anybody who purchased that shit. You can't even customize the fucking tanks yet, and that was advertised in the fucking trailer.
What annoys me even more is even before you get the patch, you have to install the game on a console. What?
Yeah.
So I've got to wait half an hour while it downloads 65 fucking gigabytes or whatever to install the game. It's on the disc. What's going on? Why is it not just on my what? That is so frustrating. And you don't and you're thinking like, well, why did I buy this? What's going on?
And the worst thing is some of the games are so big. Like that new Call of Duty game, which is like around like 100 GB or something like that.
Wow.
The Cold War one or the Modern Warfare? Because the Modern Warfare, I agree with you, that was like 130, and I was downloading that for 3 days. I'm like, is this shit done yet?
I just walk. I get so bored. I just like, if it doesn't happen instantly, I'm off. I can't be asked with it. I was expecting that as the future came towards us, rocketing towards us, that maybe, just maybe, when I put something into a computer or into my console, it would be quicker.
I know.
I never expected it.
It's insane. And this is why it doesn't work when people try to, they try to push some kind of utopia reality or things like this. They never take into account the baseline reality of human nature. And human nature doesn't work well when it's not within the confines of limitations. It's so important, whether it's creatively or just like logistically when it comes to a product. Because if you give people the option to be lazy or to half-ass things, inevitably, ultimately, that's what will happen because we'll fix it later. It's fine. Allowing video games to be released that aren't actually technically finished, polished products is a huge problem. It's really having a massive negative impact on the industry as a whole, and gamers are getting sick of it, and they're clearly not producing games that are as good as the games in the past where they had those strict limitations that were present. It's like, you got to have these things, man.
Did anybody of you guys see the the first time NVIDIA showcased their rendering engine? I think it was not NVIDIA. It was Unreal Engine 4. It had a new technology of tessellating like hundreds of thousands, millions of triangles in this map, and those triangles were illuminated like the ambient occlusion, and everything was real time, which usually is done those were technologies for when you used to do make animated films, but now they're included. The ray tracing technology was not there a few years ago. Now it's now it's there, and the lack of limitations. I mean, the limitations used to help the games be smaller. Now you're going to have these models which are going to be like a 50 GB. A single model is going to be have hundreds of polygons, and the textures are going to be like 8K, 4K, and you're going to have they're going to make games for 8K monitors.
Yeah, right.
And as the technology improves, things are getting worse for the gamers, especially for if you want to download the games.
Oh man, I almost passed out just thinking about that.
Yeah, and it's like
you don't want to.
The code. It used to be so vital and critical that the code be efficient, that it be as streamlined and efficient and clean as possible. But now it's like, oh, don't worry, people can. They can install 100 gigabytes. It's not a problem. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And it's like, oh God,
it's exactly what you were saying.
It leads to lazy.
Yeah, and what Samir is saying, it's like just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
You know, just because it's all there, do something that works. Don't necessarily do it because you can. You know,
right?
That's why games like Among Us and Deep Rock Galactic are so popular right now. They're small, and they're basically simple ideas.
Mm.
You know,
Right.
one's a murder mystery, and most of it's just conversation based.
Yeah.
And Deep Rock Galactic, that game's, believe it or not, like less than 2 gigabytes, and basically you're a space dwarf mining and fighting giant bugs, but the map is completely destructible.
That's cool. Yeah, it really does show like that people are getting sick of it. They're fed up. They want to backtrack to simpler games that are just they work exactly as they should, and there's no nonsense with it.
But they did exactly the same thing with Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
like to Doom, when they brought Doom 2016 out, it was perfect.
Yep.
Almost perfect. Certainly the gameplay, the whole mechanic, and it made you feel the same way as the old Doom did, but with great new graphics and new extra bits in it, and the way that you killed things, and it was great. And then Doom Eternal came out. Don't get me wrong, it's still great fun. It's still, shooting monsters. But then they added stuff like being underwater in it and this jumping up and down, and it's just like, why did you do that? You absolutely had something that worked, and all people wanted to do was kill more fucking demons.
Right.
But you couldn't stop yourself.
It probably
was complaining about that. Like if anybody's have seen his gameplay of Doom Eternal, he took a break and he became a gaming channel for a while. He's known for philosophy and all that stuff, but he took a break and he started streaming Doom Eternal. And the only thing he complained about was the jumping puzzles. He's like, "What the hell is this shit?" Oh my god, I'm doing this over again.
If I wanted to jump, I'd get Mario. Pack it in.
Yeah, right.
That's what I didn't like about what's that game? Destiny. Eventually there were parts and I was like, what the fuck? Is this a fucking platformer?
Right. Yeah. I do think Bandito is, correct. It's not that gaming studios aren't capable or able to produce a nice polished game that delivers a lot of value and stability, a stable play to the players, like CD Projekt Red is probably going to do with Cyberpunk 2077. But it's what I find a little alarming about Cyberpunk is the studio getting the amounts of praise they are getting for doing what all the studio should be doing, delivering a polished final product to the consumer. They're getting worshipped by gamers for doing what should just be the norm. And I find that a little alarming. I love that they're doing it. Wow. They're paving the way. They're showing how it should and can be done. But it's unfortunate that they're getting so much praise for just doing what should be the norm in the industry.
And isn't that the argument? I mean, I'm gonna try and segue this off just a little bit to comics. But Donny Cates at the moment has got 5 books in the top 10 or something, and he's everywhere, and there's he's going to save Marvel and all the rest of it. He doesn't write that well. He writes well, and he produces some good stuff, but everybody's pointing at him as if he's a genius. I'm sorry, but he isn't a genius. He's nowhere near genius level, but he's producing some good stuff.
Yes,
but it's good stuff compared to the rest of it, which is crap.
Right.
You're exactly right.
Same
I've been reading Donny Cates' stuff. It's good book. He's a good writer. He's fucking weird, but he's a good writer. And like you said, it's because the bar has been set so low around him.
Right.
That he just looks like he's almost like the next fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say next Stanley, but I don't want to say anything like that because he's.
No. But
says,
he's
That's a studio problem, not a cloud problem. I get what you're saying there, but I think this ability, and I'm using the cloud in a very general, expansive sense. Things like studios being able to release games that aren't complete, where they can just DLC it, update it to death, years down the road. It might not be the game they even talked about it being for years after its release. and I'm lumping that in with the cloud type, this technology of the cloud, and it's like a studio knowing that they can just release updates and DLC and these things means that they don't have to release a polished product. Now, does that mean all the studios are going to go that route? No. CD Projekt Red has chosen not to do that, which I applaud them for. But just having access to that opportunity, that ability to do it, means that a lot of studios are going to take advantage of it, and that's unfortunate.
But Bandito's right when he means a studio problem. That's mainly the publisher. Like EA forced DICE to release the first Star Wars Battlefront game when the game wasn't done. Yeah. DICE was like, we can't release it. When Battlefield 4 came out for consoles, when it was a port, it was horribly ported. And DICE once again was begging EA not to release it for consoles. And they released it ahead of schedule on purpose when it wasn't done. And the game wasn't balanced right.
Right.
And there were a lot of complaints, and it took DICE 5 years to fix that problem. So yeah, Bandito's kind of right. It is a publisher problem when they're forcing the developer to make ridiculous deadlines, especially with sales. Another thing that EA screwed up on was constantly demanding new Battlefield titles after releasing the last one, and that made the fall in the decline. Having a Vice role make that one Battlefield hardline, and they never made a first-person shooter worth a shit, so they didn't know what they were fucking doing.
Well, they're hurting their pre-order sales. All of them are hurting their pre-order sales. Nobody's going to trust them. Everybody trusts CD Projekt Red because they know that they're going to develop a good game. But nobody's going to trust EA or anybody like that. Nobody's going to buy a game first launch from EA. No, I mean, not nobody. Like a few will definitely, like the sports fans, they will definitely buy the games. But a lot of gamers are not buying and not pre-ordering anymore. And they prefer game companies like CD Projekt Red. I was just wondering, I had a question in my head, like talking about writing and all that. Like you mentioned Donny Cates and his writing. Why do you think the writing of games is getting better compared to even Hollywood and both comic books and all that? Why do you think the writing is getting... I thought the writing, even though Doom... It does not have a story on the face of it, but I like the story. I like the undertone. I like the writing of it.
Yeah. But that story...
What do you guys think? And recently...
that story reads like an old comic. That's the point. It reads like comics from some time ago, because it's all about... It's about the hero's journey.
Yeah.
It's a true hero's journey because you're up against it. Even though you're super powerful, you're still vulnerable. And that's what makes it fun. Yeah. So it makes it fun from a game perspective, but it's also fun from a story perspective. And those kind of stories aren't told in the mainstream anymore, I don't think. Yeah. I just to pick up on your point, when we're talking about the cloud and about it being a publisher issue and what have you, I think that actually underpins the point. We're not talking about the creatives in the studio.
Yeah.
We're talking about the reasons and why it's driven to publish, make software, films, whatever it might be, that are all cloud driven. Yes, there are benefits from the cloud in the way there are benefits from the internet, but we all see what social media does to people. And I think that's the point, is that as much as there may be great creatives in the studios, and the studios themselves are cool, the publishers are the people that are like, no, we want to push this. We want to get microtransactions in, or we want to keep it away from the general public. You can't own your own copy anymore. It's got to be in the cloud, or with a film, we're going to change it retroactively, and it doesn't matter because you don't have the DVD. You can only watch it on our network.
Exactly. Right.
So that's the kind of the point, I think. Yeah.
See, it opens to Bandito's just trying to label he's not understanding because, like I said, in the video game world, when you're talking about a cloud's a different thing than it is in than what you guys are referring to. It's not a memory thing, and what they control. Well, it is kind. It's a different kind of memory.
What do you mean by that?
Memory about your progress in the game. Basically,
I don't think that's what we're talking about. What we're talking about is ownership. I think ownership of concepts, ownership of things that you have. So, for instance, on a very simple level, whether that's using Google SketchUp, or whether it's watching a film that's owned by Disney, you don't have ownership of that. None of it. And it can be retroactively changed at any point in time, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Correct.
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I think that's
and I do think gaming is really pushing, it's clear, especially when you look at Microsoft's newest iteration that's about to drop. They're really pushing people toward just sign up to our service, our gaming service, and then you will have access to the entire library. Like, that's where things are headed. And it's like, okay, so it's all, my entire library's on your cloud that you give me permission to access, even though I'm paying you. You can deny me access at any point. And you can also release things. When you're talking about releasing software this way, again, it creates that opportunity where it doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be finished. It's a living piece of art, right? It can always be evolved and updated and change. It never has to be locked in. And I think there might be a benefit to that. Keeping a game alive over a long period of time can be cool, but more often than not, it just leads to really shoddy game design, laziness, cutting corners, all that stuff.
I think there's an opportunity here. Like, for example, with CG, people like DC and Marvel are planning to go digital. And then the CG people were like, okay, we're going to print our own comics. They're going to be signed and they're going to be premium. I think these games, like especially indie companies, now they have an opportunity. Like, for example, the superstars from, like, let's say, the old people from BioWare. They make their own companies, and then they say, oh, we're going to release a game, but we're not going to just release a game. We're going to release them physically, and it's going to be there. There are not going to be any bugs, and the CDs are going to be signed. What if an indie company starts doing that?
Right.
What do you think? And people might pay a premium for that also. Like, once you have the game, you have it forever, and it's not going to change. That's the guarantee.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. What do you think?
That's cool.
Morning, Bandito.
I know you got some passions to share.
Well,
I know I'm getting it wrong. I get it.
No. Actually, to your last point, I think that is the point. Is that you don't have ownership of it. You ultimately, if they just decide to flick the switch, then or a monkey gets into the console room, everybody loses everything.
Right.
But no, to you're talking about video games and talking about the things that were that you saw as the negative aspects, but it's like those are actually all the positive things. It's just that if the wrong people have control over it, then we end up losing quality. But I mean, the reality is, if we took the best aspects of every single game that's out there right now that's coming out this year, we would have a far superior games than any of the stuff that we grew up with. So, like, there are games out there with really tight gameplay. There's games out there with amazing graphics. There's games out there with fantastic storylines. And if we took all of that, and when designers do take that and put it all together, it's a great product. We only get that because of the cloud. We would never be able to have those games without first of all having to download it onto our console. We have to, because it has to work off the console and off the disc. Like, it has to work off of both things in order for it to load up just the next area that you're going into, so that you have that seamless transition as you're running across the map. We have to have the cloud, because when we do go to get updates and new content, that kind of stuff, then it only happens because we can download it onto a hard drive system. There isn't even enough room on the disk in order to have some of the content that we end up getting in the future. So when it comes to the cloud, I think it's important to realize, okay, you want to shit on all the problems that we're having in the gaming system. That's developer problems. That's people problems.
But do you think that the file sizes are so bloated because they can be? Do you really think that they've gone through the process to make the code as efficient and the data as confined and small as possible? I think.
Right.
I don't know. I think
that isn't bloated.
What's that?
Name one system we have that isn't bloated.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I'm just saying, I don't know. I feel like it just seems like, again, when you have an open, you're just saying, look, do whatever you want. It can be as big as it needs to be. Don't worry about the size. And like when you just have that kind of, it just leads to excessive bloat, and then people don't care about making things efficient, and it all just suffers. I don't know. The cloud to me it's a very I'm more concerned about censorship and limiting people's access than I am to, about the quality of products. But yeah. I mean, that's the main concern.
I was just saying that, if we want to complain about the cloud, it's not the quality of product that we really need to worry about, right? I'm saying that's actually where we benefit. The quality of product is where we actually end up benefiting from the cloud, as opposed to.
But have we? You think we have overall, like in general? You think in the big picture, the quality is improved because of it, or worsened?
I still have my Nintendo hooked up to the TV, my NES hooked up to the TV. So I mean,
right.
I'm old school, and my kiddos play them all the time. It's better than board games. So. But hold on just one second. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys.
No problem.
I think it's potential. What he's saying is that the potential means that we can have so many more things in games and software, which is fair enough. But that's the same as the argument for the nuclear bomb, isn't it? It's like you can have fission and you can have unlimited power, and you can also blow people up. Which do you choose? Which do you choose to do? And that's the thing about the cloud.
It's the same thing with film.
To do with it.
Yeah. It's like you have this. You have CGI, right? You can make anything real now. You can present any kind of visual component you want. Has that made film better? No.
There's some movies that did a great job with special effects with the modern CG, and there's a lot of fucking movies that fucked up and made shit jobs.
But that has always been the case. We've always had shit movies. We've always had shit games, right? So I mean, like, it's not exactly like the jump in technology has been the problem. Sometimes it's created new problems, but it isn't where we had it figured out, 40 years ago, now we're fucking it up. It's like, but I think we've been fucking it up all along.
I think the analogy, he's right, but I think the analogy is with films, say, and using CGI, and where we're talking about the cloud and it potentially creating bad habits, is that, so for instance, you can do anything with CGI now. So somebody making a film might just go, we won't go on site. We won't go, there. We'll just do it on CGI, and it makes a bad film because they actually have the ability to do it. Yeah, doesn't mean they're going to do it well.
Yeah.
And I think
that was the case.
Or you could be J.J. Abrams and do both. He'll go on site and then use CGI. What a fucking dick! It's like, we're going to be on site in this wonderful location with a giant green screen set up across all of it. Okay.
You guys ever seen that movie, The Disaster Artist, about the production of The Room? Why are you
Oh,
using
yeah.
that? We're in an alleyway. This is a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
But yeah, I think like the problems with the cloud, I think are very specific. I just don't think video games is one of them. And I think that we've always had shit games. I mean, people like to use ET as an example, right? Like, no matter what era you want to go to, people are pretty good at fucking up whatever they have their hands on.
Sure. But I mean, if you know going into producing a game, a cartridge, let's just say, take it there, like you know that once you start, running off those cartridges, that's it.
Yeah,
that's your game. That's all they did. But I mean, the reason for that is the guy worked on it for what, like 2 weeks. I mean, it was insane. The guy had no time to pull it off, and so the reasons that happened were just. Of course, it can happen. I'm just saying.
I think the point is that you would never get the games that you get right now on a cartridge. Things move on, so I understand. Okay. I understand absolutely. I can appreciate both points of view and where they're coming from. And I do think it comes down to that whole, nuclear bomb. Fission, fusion, whatever it is. Do you have unlimited energy, or do you blow the fuck out of everybody?
Russ just wants
it's a choice. It's a choice.
And it's like,
I just want to hit everybody with an axe.
I'm talking about video games, and Russ is trying to take us to nuclear war.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to underpin that people have a choice, no matter what the technology. There's a choice, I do agree that Rock.
I'm about to cloud up and rain all over you.
Well, I do agree with what Rock was saying about that sometimes the ability to do things can make some people lazy.
So now when it comes to the cloud, the idea that they do put out games early knowing they can fix it later on, that has been a problem with like Fallout 76. What was that one about?
Prime example, man. I mean,
is a prime example. That game's still not finished.
Yeah.
Putting more updates on it.
Conan Exiles was another one that they put out, and it just bombed.
No Man's Lands?
No Man's Lands. Thank you. That was the one.
Now, wasn't that one that actually... There was one that came out and people were radically upset with it and disappointed, but they ultimately pulled it out of the hat, right?
Oh...
No Man's Sky or
No Man's Sky.
Didn't they do that 3 years later though?
Exactly. Yeah. It took a while. So I don't know. I get what you're saying, Bandito. Is like technically what you're saying.
And
this should all be a benefit. This should all be helping games get better. But at some point, you have to look at the reality of it and ask, well, are they getting better? Is it?
Well, look at Cyberpunk 2077. We would never have had that in.
Are you sure? You're saying that would be a game that's impossible to deliver. Do you think there's going to be a day one update from CD Projekt Red for that?
Online fan base, people bitch about that diligently about the microtransactions, but still, there's millions of players on that every day. That's still the most streamed video game on Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the most profitable piece of entertainment in the history of entertainment.
Of mankind. Yeah.
It's the most streamed online game.
I have a question for everybody on the panel. The Witcher 3
no choice.
Chat can answer it also. What if let's say really famous games that have been selling to this day, like Elder Scrolls, like The Witcher 3, and let's say, for example, Witcher 3 CD Projekt Red comes out and says, okay, we're going to, because of the sales of previous sales of CD Projekt Red, that Witcher 3, we're going to re-release the game, but it's going to be a physical copy with some extra bonuses inside it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be physical, and there's going to be a booklet with it. So
they still can't do that. The game is too big. So I mean, like, if they can.
No, it's not. They can still they can have multiple Blu-rays. They can even put it on a USB. They can even sell it with a USB with a really high density USB. So it's not that game is. I don't think so. I don't think so. At least for Witcher 3, it's not that big. Witcher 3 is not very. It can come in two Blu-rays. It can come on.
That's an interesting point. I mean, I think the thing here also to keep in mind is that the game
Do you
producers,
guys remember
the
how much
people
we
who
used
are making hold on one second. The people who are making these who want to make all the money on it, not necessarily the ground floor people like the creative, the talent, but the bigger umbrella companies. It's like they could be leveraging and utilizing a better format for delivering a physical media copy to people, but they don't really want to, do they? They want things to move the way they're moving because microtransactions, because they can update a flawed game, because it creates a lot more opportunity to make that money. So I think they still could be delivering us these games in physical media. I think they could if they wanted to. They just don't want to.
My argument going back, because Samir brings up an interesting subject, is Tenaple had a secret sale of original SE&S cartridges of Earthworm Jim that were special edition prints, and he had a limited run. And each one of them were a different color, and then he had a limited run of these cow prints of Earthworm Jim special editions that he secretly came out with.
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't know. Smiling Bandito, what were you going to say?
Well, do you guys remember when games used to come on multiple discs? And we used to fucking bitch and complain because it's like, fuck, I got to put this disc in.
Yeah.
You know,
as but much is that, as... I mean, is that really the case? Is that with the... Like Samir said, there's probably other solutions, like a high-density flash drive instead of a disc. Maybe that's the way to go moving forward. But they don't want to.
No.
They don't want. They want you to buy games digitally. I think that's the whole point. They really would prefer you do it that way.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's not necessarily... I don't think that's the problem, right? I don't think that it's the physical media or that's having it or not having it. That's the problem.
Okay.
That's all I'm getting at. I think that if we never had a problem with shitty games coming out, we would never be talking about how much it sucks to have to rely on the cloud for that service, right? And you know, actually getting back to Russ, it's how you end up using the technology,
right?
But we do have this fear, and we're seeing it on Twitter, where it's like our access to something can be shut off.
Correct.
Right. And we're not in control of that. So when we're talking about what the real problems are, I'm just like, okay, guys, don't talk about the things that actually make it so that we do get the games we have now. Right. We've spent half or 20 minutes, half hour talking about like we would not get Cyberpunk 2077 without the cloud. We wouldn't get that game today.
Okay.
Right. Because
are you sure about that? What makes you say that?
Because
just because the size of it?
Because the consoles that are coming out will not support it. They wouldn't support something that's a straight physical media. So I mean, like now we have the developers and there's so many moving
parts. But why is that? Why would they not support it? Because this is where they want things to go. It's being pushed that way.
I don't see that you
want it or not.
I don't see that the two views are mutually exclusive.
Console gaming never meant to handle PC style games. Yeah. Never, even when Crysis came out, it never was meant to be for consoles. It was meant to be on high end PCs.
Yeah.
Even today, Cyberpunk 2077 is not meant for modern consoles. It's meant for PCs.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's always been the case though. Like every single game that's been developed has always been developed with the best equipment that a developer can have, and then they have to dumb it down for distribution, right?
Yeah, yeah. Inkspots, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Inkspots.
Inkspots here again. God damn, I love it.
Yeah, when Doug is
supposed to be working
this morning. Yeah, I just got off.
I'm supposed to be working. Damn
it. Yeah, I dug up a septic tank, got it pumped, and then that was all I had today so far. So I think we're all getting used to the Biden economy that's coming. So you just like work like 15 minutes and then starve to death and do nothing the rest of the day. So, yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's gotta be awesome. Yeah,
that's how the world works now.
Speaking of censorship, how are all you people out there on Twitter enjoying your communist China Twitter lately? It's great, right? And YouTube too. I love censorship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you know, it is. Man, it's a really big, as we move forward in this, you know, these interesting times that we're living in, which I don't think is going to de-escalate. I think it's going to continue to escalate, unfortunately, with lockdowns and all these rules. Yeah, the cloud is a huge concern because if you're not a good little boy and girl and following all those rules and wearing your diaper and all that stuff, you know, maybe you don't get access to things that you need, not just for entertainment, but for actually making the money you make doing your job.
They roped us in with convenience.
Exactly. That's always. And I'm like,
start to
maybe
depend on these platforms, and then they can just yank it out from under you whenever they want.
And I want my Cyberpunk 2077.
I do. Yeah, I get that. I hear what you're saying, man, that it does make the kind of games that they're able to make with this added layer of the cloud is it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but maybe there's a point where everybody needs to just say, okay, yeah, maybe we could do something a little bit cooler by utilizing all of this, but at what cost? Maybe having the limitation, and let's not go there. Let's draw a line in the sand and not do that, because we see the dangers and the lack of quality that is coming out. I would say there's more bad stuff happening due to it than good stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception, but
here's an example. Like, for example, for the new Spider-Man game with the Miles Morales game, they released the old game. They patched the old game also with the new game, and the old game they changed the face of Peter Parker. And everybody hated the face of Peter Parker, the new Peter Parker. They didn't like it. Right. And they liked the old one. So what about that?
Like a dollar store Tom Holland or something.
They changed the actor.
Yeah,
like
from
from
the game. Yeah. That's the other thing too. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing that with Star Wars, right? Like whatever Disney released recently, and they're just like updating whatever. You know, the next time they go to update their show list, your shows are going to be different, right?
Yeah,
they're going to be edited. So I mean, yeah, it's about who has control of it. It really is.
Yeah, well, we know that's not going to be us. So
buy physical media.
But they can buy me with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, apart from Cyberpunk 2077, obviously. But apart from that, buy physical media.
I think if the only way that the company could make Cyberpunk 2077 was to make it as a physical media and ship it out, you know, the old school way, they would find a way to do it. They would solve the problems.
Well,
this is what I don't like about so much of what's happening.
Online interaction without having the cloud.
Well, I don't know about that either. I mean,
we don't
back in the day, the first game I played multiplayer was Quake, and that was just a dial-up modem. You don't need the cloud for multiplayer. You need the cloud for all kinds of money-making bullshit. You know, and then people have to pay a monthly fee to be part of the service, and it just never ends. How much money they grift out of you for this shit. Is it really making better games, or is it just making better money machines?
Alternatively, you can buy comics.
You can.
I have one.
I don't know. It's fascinating. I think a company like CD Projekt Red would find the solutions. They would figure out solutions to the problems. They would still get us Cyberpunk 2077. I think. Outside of I think what they're going to wind up shipping is probably going to be a really solid piece of software. But we'll see if there's some huge day one patch or something. We'll see how they do.
Well, it's definitely going to be blatantly obvious. There's going to be controversies on the release on the console, and the PC, it's going to come out fantastic. That's how it always ends with games like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And that's what a huge challenge. I mean, having to make something for multiple platforms like that, it's what a nightmare.
There's other things that it opens up as well. I mean, like you look at the mod community. That's all based. That's all cloud based, and I mean, you get better games out of those guys than the developers a lot of the times. So I don't know. Am I willing to give up am I willing to throw out Cyberpunk with the bathwater? I don't think so. I think that the cloud isn't our enemy. It's the developer.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I agree. I mean, nothing is. Even, whatever it is, it can be used nefariously. Nothing in and of itself is evil or bad.
This is supposed to be about politics, not video games.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem too. You're going into two different kinds of gaming platforms. PC is so much of a bigger, better market, and trust me, I've gone to console my whole life. I still have an Xbox.
Yeah. Well, do you think consoles will just eventually merge into they're just becoming computers,
becoming a
aren't
PC?
They?
No, I think it all just going to be mobile gaming eventually.
Yeah.
There won't be any consoles, just mobile gaming, because everything will be accessible online.
Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. There will always be something to limit it, though. They'll always have a reason to say, no, this is this product and this is that product. Because as soon as they, cross the bridge, you don't get as much money when you only have one product.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's why.
Well, you mean you can't sell it over multiple platforms that way? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So I mean, they have to keep something. You can't make a PC version and a Sony version, because if they end up becoming the exact same thing, right? So, and people will want to, that's why Sony has been so adamant about not cross-platforming. It's because they don't want it to be where people buy the PC game instead of buying the Sony game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the publishers are okay with that because they want people to buy multiple copies. I mean, look at Skyrim.
Yeah, I've been playing it for 11 years.
There's been more iterations of that game, I think, than any game in existence.
I've bought 4 versions of Skyrim myself.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. I have 2. So, no, actually, I got 3 now because I got one for the Nintendo, the Switch for my kiddos. So I haven't played that one yet, though. But.
Skyrim's been out for 11 fucking years.
I waited in line at midnight to get that game. That's the only game I've ever done that.
Wow. I got the collector's edition. I got the dragon and everything.
That's the only
my boomer brain.
Of mods, I mean, look how that's what makes that game so replayable, is because you can completely change that game. There's so many mods for it. So
point and click. Show me what to shoot. Show me where to go and have a race. Show me who to beat up. 20 minutes. I'm in. I'm out. My boomer brain won't let me do it. I get bored.
I couldn't stand that game because every time I started that game, I always got turned into a vampire. So it was either I got chased by Van Town or I fucking died sunlight.
You want to be a vampire?
Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many advantages to being a vampire.
Yeah, it would be nice if I could figure it out.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess the conversation got muddled. I probably should have kept a cleaner line between what we were the topic, I guess. But it just goes where it goes, and I think I'm glad you came in, Bandito, to try and kind of clarify what
I think
we were talking about something different.
What's happening on Twitter is an absolute crime. I think that it's a crime against all the public. What we see with the New York Post being censored, and then
I haven't seen anything about that yet. I haven't been on Twitter today.
But that's the whole topic.
Yeah, they're censoring everybody right now. At least for the next 14 days.
So yeah. That was the whole topic today, Dave.
That's such a huge. It's just I don't know how anyone, knowing how these companies have operated, how we have this track record to look at of these platforms and corporate entities. This is how they run things. they're more than happy to remove access to people for things that they really should have no right to do that with. And that's, if we're moving toward an everything's in the cloud reality, and it's the corporations and these entities that will control access, it's such an obvious, unthinkable problem that we would just embrace it. Like, this is it's not a good idea. It's horrible.
I think it also depends. I mean, you can overplay and overstate this to a degree. I mean, what's the percentage of the population on Twitter? And of the population of Twitter, what percentage leans left or right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, Twitter does a lot of censorship, but it probably only censors things that most of the people that are using Twitter don't want to read anyway.
Right.
Or who have already been convinced of one point or another. So it's kind of like a moot point in some ways. Because the vast majority of the population don't live online. They have real lives, unlike us. I feel really sad now.
Hail Luke.
What up, Metal Hero?
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going?
Good.
Hey,
good.
Luke, what's up?
We're just getting started.
Huh?
We're just getting started.
Nice. Oh,
there he goes.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
What happened?
We're just getting
enough.
started.
It's poutine internet.
Everybody
You got censored.
Shit in the bed recently. What is up with that? Like,
Yeah.
speaking as a tech person, I am dumbfounded. It almost seems like a systematic attack on all of our networks everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. It's you're saying StreamYard has been acting up lately?
Well, just internet in general. Like, I was watching
for sure.
Literature Devil's stream this morning, and his internet crapped out. You know,
Oh, did
Shane's
it?
internet craps out all the time.
Yeah, I've definitely been having some issues too over the last month and a half. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's peculiar, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm just working and accidentally closed out. That was all me.
Yeah.
Can't blame the cloud on that one.
No, you cannot. So in the tech section, we call that a problem between the computer and the chair.
I don't
there's
know.
an issue between the computer and the chair.
Do we
Right,
do we have
it off and on?
Exactly.
Do we have more to engage with this topic? I mean, I guess talking about the cloud, there's a lot. It could go on and on and on, but I don't know. I don't know that the benefits outweigh the possible negative components of it. I really don't.
Well, when we are running through Cyberpunk 2077 and screaming about the joys of the gameplay that we're
now, why do you think
video games? I used to play them.
And you think it's completely reliant on the cloud for that game to even function?
I do. I don't think we would end up having that game if we didn't have the cloud.
I think it would be slightly more difficult to have that game, but it could happen without the cloud. If we didn't have the cloud, I mean, we've got flash drives that have 128 gigs. I've got a 128 gig card in my phone. That's why I never use Spotify or Pandora, because I have all the music.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
My phone is my fucking radio station, you know? So, I mean, they can totally put that game on a flash drive and send it out to you with little fucking cool art and everything.
Right. And multiplayer isn't the cloud. I mean, multiplayer is just connecting with other players.
I mean, you definitely need connectivity to do the multiplayer thing. I never really have done multiplayer, so that's never been an issue for me.
Yeah.
But
I've never been huge on it either. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Death Metal on that front, that if they would find a way, if they didn't have the option of having a cloud type scenario, they would find a way to make it happen.
I do agree with Bandito.
If they didn't have it,
it's much easier to get stuff out there and fix things.
Yes.
You know, because we have the internet. But that creates another problem, because then companies are allowed to ship broken games.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about that, and it's like it seems to be happening.
Bethesda being one of the main, they never did fix PlayStation 3 ever. That game was unplayable. Skyrim.
But they've always had broken games. Like even cartridges had broken games. So I mean, like that's.
But how often? On a percentage? I mean,
pretty
regularly. They were just talking about Mario 64. I mean.
Yeah.
how often do we see these gamers doing speed runs and using the broken mechanics of a game in order to
get through? Right, that's true.
Finding little chinks in the geometry and stuff like that. Yeah, totally.
Let's be honest. If you play Star Fox in an actual old Super NES, you wouldn't stand it. It's like fucking 15 or 20 frames per second.
Oh, I know. I've got an old CRT right over here in the studio, and my SNES and Sega hooked up to it.
Yeah.
That's about how quickly my brain operates.
Yeah.
What?
That's about how quickly my brain operates. 15 frames a second. I think that's about it.
But I do agree that having the cloud opens up the door for other people to take advantage of it, and that's really the thing that we're dealing with. It's not necessarily a broken cloud or a broken system. We're dealing with broken people.
Sure. Always. Yeah.
See, I think for me, it's less about like the good and the bad of the cloud. It's more about what it does to the second-hand market. The second-hand market in physical media at the moment is still pretty huge. Like, you can buy a game, you can trade it in, you could get a new game,
especially
maybe
retro
with your credit.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, right. So that's all gone. There's no value in your purchase in that sense.
The more you do digital, you can. There's no way to sell it on because you don't own it to be able to sell it to someone else.
There's nothing to sell.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier about DRM and actual ownership. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you don't own anything.
Yeah,
and this is why I
agree with that.
Like, if it's something I really like and want to keep, I'll download it just to make sure that I actually have it, because suddenly it could just disappear. Or like Samir was saying about the Spider-Man game, they'll just alter the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a patch. Here you go, and suddenly everything's fucking different. It's like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute, what?
Well, Microsoft did something smart with their system. They give you a reward system, so you're basically getting paid. Last year, I was able to buy 3 fucking video games just by them fucking paying me to play some of their stupid video games.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, shit, I'm in the wrong job.
Right?
Yeah.
I get paid to play video games so I can buy more video games? This is like some Minecraft meta shit.
No, we do it in comics all the time. People pay us to draw comics, and we buy comics.
They to use their web browser. So when you're game streaming, you go off your Twitch off their Microsoft Edge. So you accumulate points while you're streaming. So you're getting paid double.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We would not have this without the cloud.
Without the cloud. Yeah, definitely a lot of benefits. A lot of benefits for sure. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know. And ultimately, do we have a choice? I guess if you want to keep engaging things as they move forward, you have to embrace the cloud, because that's where it's going to go.
Yeah. And is it going to get worse? I think.
Of course.
If all of us looking in our looking glass, I think we all believe it's going to get worse.
Well, I'm just happy they gave me the option to get the disc tray on the PS5. I got coming next month.
Yeah.
I looked at when they first showed it. I was like, where the fuck do I put the disc in? Like, it's nowhere I'm going to put my disc. And then they released, they showed the second one. I'm like, thank fuck for that, because I don't know what it is. I just can't get behind digital fully. I'm a big proponent of physical media, hence I've got like such a massive collection of everything physical, basically. Which will be coming on a YouTube channel very soon. So sub and get ready.
Nice.
That's a wedge, mate. That was like a PS5. How much was that?
Oh, I did it. 500.
It's gonna make me feel.
Let's just say it's still a kidney.
It's too much, basically. But you know,
it'll be the first one I'm not buying. I'm done with it now. So
well, I thought about that, and I was like, well, my dissertation is going to be done by November 6th, so I'm like, it comes out November 19th. I can veg out for a couple of weeks and just sort of have a good gaming session.
Yeah. Of course, I say that until a new game comes out that is exclusive, and I have to buy it. So.
Yeah. I haven't played. I haven't
PS4 is because of God of War. They released another God of War game. I'm fucking stuck again.
Well, apparently there is one coming.
I know.
I hate PC gaming. I've never been able to get behind it. I don't know why.
Oh, dude, they're fun. So much fun.
I put in Dad of War, and I walked up to something, and it died, and I turned it off. It looked like it was going to be a really, really good game. I just got really bored really quickly. But I think that's more. Yeah. I think that says more about me.
There's a difficulty setting that you can, for those of us who don't just go in easy mode.
I don't want something that's difficult. Who do you think I
am? You're bored if it's too easy, but you don't want something difficult.
No, I want something to entertain me.
So if you want to know how old I am, the last PC game that I liked to play on the computer was Warcraft 2.
Nice.
That long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a long while either.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord. I love
playing games like Doom, and that you got to be on a PC to be competitive at all. Like trying to play Doom on a console and compete with other people it's not fun to me. Without that mouse, that control of a mouse for a first-person shooter, there's nothing compares to that. It's fun, but
because it's how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, exactly. Have any of you played Rocket League?
Oh yeah.
And I'm not big on. I don't play sports games, but that is one that I got really addicted to. A few years back, whenever it came out. But I made the mistake recently of installing it again, and I've been playing. So it's been like, oh shit, like staying up till 2-3 in the morning playing Rocket League. What a dumbass move.
That's good
sci-fi. One of the most addicting games at the moment, Fall Guys. Playing on the PlayStation, Fall Guys, fuck me. Like it's so stupid. You're like literally a little jelly bean dude, and you're competing against 50 other people. I think it is. You're running around these courses, doing all this stupid shit. Like, you ever seen I don't know if you had it in America. It's a Knockout. Russell should know what it is.
Go on, what?
We have Fall Guys.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Well, yeah, Fall Guys, yeah. But fuck me, I was like, all right, I'll boot up for half an hour. I was on it for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, without even realizing. I even forgot to eat. I forgot to fucking eat. Me.
What did you say it was called? Did you say it was called It's a Knockout?
Yeah, do you remember that show back in the day?
Yeah.
It's like that, but you're a jelly bean.
Je sans frontières. It's a Knockout.
Takahashi's Castle.
Yeah, it's a bit
yeah.
Like
that. It's like that. Yeah.
I like that.
That's most good. Extreme challenge.
Most extreme.
One of my favorites right now. I get really stoned and played is Deep Rock Galactic.
Never played it. What's that?
Oh, that sounds like a medical condition.
It's basically you're a space dwarf and you're mining for diamonds, and you got to fight all these bugs. And you're like a 4-player squad, but it's got a really awesome synthwave soundtrack.
Oh, right.
That sounds great.
Sounds like Starship Troopers, the game.
Pretty much. Playing Jade Cocoon on PlayStation 3. Went back to PlayStation 3 and started replaying all my games from that. So, Jade Cocoon is just a rip-off of, what is it? Pokemon.
Okay.
But I think it's cooler, though.
Yeah. No, I love my retro game. It's what was your guys' first consoles then? Because obviously I'm a little bit younger than
NES, original NES.
Yep.
Sega Genesis.
ColecoVision.
Well,
Atari.
Yeah, my dad got us an Atari back in the day. Yeah.
I played my mom had an old Atari that she played Pac-Man on I played that first, but my first was an NES. Yeah.
Yeah. The first that I owned was an NES, but I played
Zelda.
Dude, that fucking with the gold cartridge?
Yeah, the gold cartridge. And then Zelda 2 comes out and you're like, what the fuck is this game?
What happened?
But I played that one.
They both had gold cartridges.
Yeah, they did.
Zelda 2 had gold cartridges?
Yeah, it had a gold cartridge.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah,
the first one was called Link.
It's just different.
The first one, the second one was called Link. The second one, so it was Zelda, and then the second one came out, Zelda 2.
Adventure.
Link. Yeah.
Dude,
that wasn't even supposed to be Zelda. It was just it was some other game they made, and they just put Zelda over the top of it.
They did that with Mario 2 as well.
Yeah. That was a Japanese game that they repurposed.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Death Metal?
If you guys like SNES era games, there is an awesome YouTube channel called SNES Drunk, and he goes over all the different, just all kinds of games I never even heard of.
Yeah.
For Super Nintendo. A lot of Japanese games that we never got. But yeah, you should definitely check it out if you're a fan of games of that era.
I had a friend that used to get all the games from Japan, and we were always trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And because all you had to do was take the flaps out of the Super Nintendo, and the Japanese would fit in there. They just had a different plastic tab.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right.
And and he had all kinds of stuff, and it's just like, what the fuck is any of it? Like, we don't know what's happening. He's like, oh no, I'm pretty sure I got this game, and then like he turns a corner and dies. And
what a time, where regional restrictions were dictated by the size of your cartridge.
Oh my goodness, it was the original version of the Cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, God, how quickly it's happened. I mean, thinking about where we started when we were kids, of what we were interacting with on that front to where we are. This is a whole different world we live in. It's almost unrecognizable,
It is 100%. And you go back 40 years prior to the time that we're talking about, and it was unrecognizable again. They had black and white TVs.
Well,
right? That was the height of their technology.
If you go back far enough, and really not that far, you could have. And this fascinates me, is like, if you had a kid, it was reasonable for that kid to expect that the world they live in when they became an adult was more or less the world that their parents lived in. But we live in a time now where that is just absolutely not the case.
The world was the same as the world that my parents lived in until I was about 30.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay. So it wasn't that long ago where the world was relatively speaking. I'm not saying nothing changed, but it was like you would expect there to be some stability there, and what your parents taught you about the world was gonna certainly help you. And now it's like your kids are like, dude, listen to my parents. They don't even know what's going on out here.
I missed 1995.
I was gonna say we are definitely gonna be the coolest old people, man, because we listen to rock and roll. We grew up on Super Nintendo. We're fucking badass. We had all the best action stars.
Oh yeah,
right.
We used to go outside.
Yeah, we actually went outside.
Dude, yeah, hell yeah.
You all remember the world before it became fully fucking digital.
Yep.
What's outside?
I know.
Fresh air.
We were the first ones to stop going outside.
Stuff that'll give you hives. Be careful.
That's right.
That thing's up in the tree.
What was that?
Banging the tree or something, man.
I don't know. Whoa, is that what a koala sounds like? Holy shit. It's awesome.
I thought I was going to turn around and see like a warthog or something. Like, not a fucking koala.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, this was fun. We went all over the place. I probably, like I said, I probably should have had a more clear framework for the discussion, but I loved where it went. I liked the conversation a lot.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cloud is bad, except when it's not.
Except Cyberpunk. That's it. That's all we wanted it for. The cloud has been delivered to us for this sole purpose.
Yeah. Did we pay too much for it? That's
was the price too high?
It was the price too high.
At what
cost? Of course, Russ. Everybody needs to check out Only Death Can Save Us.
Yes.
The link is in the description below. Is there anything else that you'd like to shout out today?
Oh no. Yes.
Yes.
Stephanie Renee. Stephanie, there's so many books out. I'll tell you what I did. I bought this. Look at that.
You got to do the
woods. Yeah, you got to do the knot.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic book.
Yes.
Fantastic book. I bought
Very
that.
good.
I bought some other stuff as well, but I just thought I'd say something about that. Yes, you can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. You can find me at russleach.com, at comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find out more about my book, Only Death Can Save Us, at onlydeathcansavus.com. There is a link there, as well as in the description to the campaign. There are stretch goals in effect. Get over there. I only need 30 more people, and I reckon I can do the first 4 stretch goals.
All right.
So make that happen. That would be great. You can find me on the Twitter, on the Fleecebook, if I'm not being restricted in speech, you can find me over at Instagram and sometimes on the parlay when it works.
All right. How is that over there?
It's shit.
Right?
It's garbage.
Okay.
I wish it wasn't. I mean, I really was expecting more, but they only have 4 million people after being out this long. Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know. There's shit.
I can't upload images from my browser. I can't upload images. It's crap. It just stops me from going there.
Yeah, I had a boob picture that got taken down. I had, and it, you know, it was artwork. It was actual like a artwork, and they took it down. You know,
what?
Yeah.
There you go.
Boobs are always artwork.
Yeah,
it's the same problems conservatives have always had. It's like you want to portray yourself as a bunch of stuck-up old men with a stick in your ass. So
right. Yeah, that's too bad, man. It just seems so difficult for anyone to come out with viable alternatives to these platforms, and probably because it's just not financially feasible, right? We know that YouTube probably works at a major loss, but Google can eat that loss. So
Google
really
tried to eat that loss with Google Plus for years, and we saw
yeah.
how well that worked out for them.
Right. Yeah.
Does YouTube
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to them to have the control over what people say, to the extent that they do, to eat the cost. I think it's worth it for the company, which is unfortunate, but we'll see how that goes. Samir, anything you'd like to shout out today?
Nothing much, but that Slaughter Squad book, he hasn't been on Twitter for a while. I think he's banned. He can't promote his books anymore.
Okay.
So that's like follow him on his YouTube channel. I think it's Beefy Bull. Is it Beefy Bull?
His website. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
yeah. You can follow me on Twitter also. My handle is right below. You can see, look at that. And speaking of alternatives, Library is a really good alternative for YouTube. They have a really nice way of getting the audience to watch content there. Like you get paid to watch their content there, and. So
now, is it just called Library, or I thought there was a site called Odyssey?
LBRY.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they have a website for it now.
Yeah, and it's Sweetcast is there. Sweetcast is there, and some other some other people are.
Okay,
you're there.
So yeah, so what you can do is you can link it to your YouTube channel.
Right.
So you can just carry on doing your YouTube stuff, and every time you publish something, it just goes through to Library.
Now, this is Odyssey, right? That you're talking about?
Yeah, and they've just launched the website for Library, which is Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah, I did set myself up over there as well. I haven't looked at it really.
Yeah, definitely
checked out to see how well it worked. I don't think it actually transferred my entire channel.
Takes a while.
A lot of stuff was missing, but kind of a cool concept for sure. So yeah, Odyssey, check that out.
I'm just putting the link for Joe's other Twitter in the chat.
Nice.
That's what he used for you can contact him about the book and all that kind of stuff if you have any questions.
Cool.
But it's his secondary Twitter account. He just isn't using it all that much.
You know, I warned him about shaving his balls on live stream, but he didn't listen. So.
I know. Sometimes you try to warn people, and they just don't listen.
Well, I did tell him as long as he labeled it as educational, he'll be fine.
Oh, right. People get away with that shit, right, on YouTube?
And
there's a guy who gives lessons in Brazilian waxing male genitalia.
Yeah.
And
big market.
It's full detail. I mean, it's an old guy grabbing this young guy's penis, and
wrapping duct tape around it and ripping it off.
Pretty much.
That sounds like
there is nothing in any of that sounds entertaining in any way, shape, or form. We've definitely taken a turn. We've definitely taken a turn down the wrong road.
Yeah, there's a segment in detail. This fellow bends over in the ass crack and waxes that area too.
We've been complaining about the cloud this whole time when there's
into the
genuine
video.
injustice in the world, and
Exactly.
now we get to it. Yeah,
That's when you gotta rip it in. Yes.
Yay.
Ink spot. Whoa. A little bit of gay.
genuine injustices in the world.
A little bit of gay in the diet is good. It's
Yeah,
good.
you
Skinny
forgot that
legs.
segment, badass or gay.
I don't know. I think I don't know why. I think the river dance is kind of cool. I always liked it. I think it's kind of neat.
Jesus.
But,
I think
that
gay.
doesn't
We got a
say
flattery
that
clan
it
over here.
that doesn't say that it leans a little gay. It does. So I don't know what that says about me, but I like me some river dance.
It takes a lot of discipline to be able to do that shit. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that shit.
No, I've never had a desire to do it, but whenever I see it, I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like it.
Fair
Ink
enough.
spots. Ink
Yeah,
spots.
so you guys can follow me on Twitter at MyEvilRobot. Right now, I'm currently in between cash grab pages. I'm waiting for the next batch to get here from Cecil. Donald's got them drawn. We're just waiting for approval. Right now, I did get my first little batch of pages from Charlie's London.
All right.
She's working on Charlie's London from East Lane to the Limelight. Officially licensed project that will launch tomorrow. I'm actually working on coloring the Chubbs cover right now, and she's going to offer a color in black and white of that. So look out for that. And I'm doing a cover for Sims Tales of the Natverse. If you guys want to go over there and grab a copy of that, I believe my cover is going on issue number 2 of that. And Spartan Scotsman's going to be coloring those issues, so they should be really nice looking on the inside too. So, yeah. And then Jimmy Reyes, Dragon Rage. Make sure you get that book. That looks great as well.
Great project, dude. What's it like? What's it been like working on Chubb stuff, Mary Boys?
Oh, I'm so scared because that cover he did is so gorgeous already.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's kind of a I don't know. The cover is so beautiful in black and white.
Yeah.
But converting it to colors been a little bit of a challenge. Plus, Charlie has to run everything. Even I did a first version and she loved it, and she sent it over. She has to run it by the Chaplain kids or whoever's running the foundation. And they're like, "Yeah, we love it. Just change everything." So we're kind of working with two. You got to get 2 approvals on everything, but. I'm sure once we kind of get it narrowed down to what exactly they're looking for, it'll be all right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. The collaborations you're doing with several people, man. It's just going to be such a cool fusion.
Yeah,
of
I'm
styles.
doing a straight up Sims. I'm going to do a straight up Frazetta style with his. It's going to be all painted with. You'll be able to see brush strokes and everything.
Yes.
So that should be
Nice,
awesome.
man.
Yeah,
that's
Very
awesome.
Cool. Dave, anything you want to shout out to Dave?
Well, as always, follow me on Twitter, Bristolian Dave, mildly amusing Bristolian bloke. I was going to plug Charlie's London, but Inkspots did it already because he's working on it. But I've seen Chubb's cover, man. Fuck,
it's gorgeous.
Seriously, it's so beautiful. Like I just
so talented.
Yeah, I feel like they're like, just don't fuck it up.
I think Charlie said she's doing there's a first day backer package, I think, which includes some extras. So it's very important. Make sure it launches tomorrow. Check it out because you don't want to miss out on any of this. It's probably going to be one of the better books in CG. Like completely.
Yeah. Do you know what time? Are they kicking off like a launch party stream? Do you know what time that is?
That's a
They're
good
doing
question.
it on the UK channel, right? But I don't know whose channel they're actually doing it on.
I'll ask her now quickly. Well, you guys go around the rest and I'll find out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be good to know. I'd like to be there. I don't know if I can be. I've got a really busy day tomorrow. But yeah, I'd love to be there for the launch party for sure. Gargoyle, anything you'd like to shout out?
Oh, on Amazon, there's this lovely Viking book. Got sets. Got this hard. What do you call this? Floppy? Or
it's a trade paperback.
Trade paperback. Excuse me. Nice set, full set. You get the full story. It's on Amazon. And this Ben Templesmith cover Not to mention this lovely section where this great flatter spent 2 to 3 hours wanting to brag about his work.
Yeah, the best flatting in the history of flatting ever.
But yeah, I kind of looked at it and thought, this guy really don't know what's going on. I think he has some kind of prejudice against flatters to begin with.
Yeah, that comes through loud and clear, doesn't it?
Some self-hate there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ruins of Ragnan, still available on Amazon.
Where's my fucking comic?
Finally gets it on another Indiegogo campaign.
Russ. I wasn't, at the time I wasn't set up for shipping stuff out, but I'm all situated now, and your comics are actually going out today or tomorrow. Sorry about that. But,
sorry.
Yeah.
I got a reply from Charlie. She's launching 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. UK time, on Comic Artist Pro Secrets. So actually on EVS's channel.
Nice.
That's gonna be fucking huge.
Yeah.
That sounds like a scandal, honestly.
Oh, speaking of which, congratulations to the Replicator guys. Replicator 3 campaign launched today.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I got the original Replicator issues 1 and 2 before the remaster. Pretty good. So yeah, I think I'll probably invest. I want to keep reading. It was good enough that I definitely want to keep reading it. It's a cool book. Death Metal Hero. What you got going on?
Well, I'll show you what I'm working. I've been doing the whole Fragtober thing with Frag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Loving that show.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Nice, Lobo.
How do you get on with Fragaboom? Because I'd love to draw with you guys.
Just hang out in the chat, man. He'll talk to Lincoln. He didn't last night, I don't think. I kind of crashed out early, but last night it was Lobo, I think.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, he's really
sick,
rocking
man.
it. It's so great to have him back streaming. I know, he had a rough go of it with the surgery and recovery, and I think just kind of getting over some mental hurdles. But it's so cool to see him back strong.
Oh yeah, he's having fun, man, and everybody else is having fun. Actually, Malin's been hanging out with him on the stream, doing the draw along as well. So I mean, they had a bunch of people. They had Kenneth Rockefort on there the other night when they did OMAC.
That was cool, man.
Mate, it's unbelievable. Like I watched Fragger's stream. It's like a fucking CG showcase. Like he's got everyone who's anyone on there.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Plus, he has everyone that's nobody on there too. That's what makes him awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying it on another show, but it's basically a comic convention happening every day in CG.
Yep.
It's just all happening all the time. It's engagement. You're seeing art being made live. All these incredible talents just coming together and doing cool shit all the time. It's so fucking badass.
It is.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Death Metal Hero. I'm also on Instagram. I post artwork on Twitter and on Instagram. But I'm also on the YouTube, of course. I do this.
Yes.
So hit the notifications and come stream with me.
Yes. I gotta get your links. I gotta get your links added to the description. I don't know why they're not in there yet. You're on here often enough. I need to get your shit in there. Sorry about that.
When it's a Thursday or a Friday, I try to pop in when I can because I'm not at the cat clinic. Usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm at the cat clinic, and I get the notification. I'm like, oh, I wish I could check it out, see what they're talking about. But it's pure fucking chaos.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Smiling Bandito.
Well, I have my email. Actually, I'll put it up here. 1 second.
Yeah, drop it in there.
I'm working on my own book now, Black as Hell. And it's every past has a shadow, a dark blemish on the soul. And we have daily reminders that would have us turn away from it, but it seeks us, looks to overtake us. And we try to flee to dark places to hide our deeds. But for those who want to delve into a little bit more of that, Black as Hell is a look at a man who tries to keep himself together while his worlds tear each other apart.
Yes. Nice.
Right now, the email list is there for anybody who wants to sign up. It's going to be a 48-page book and one of 3 that will be coming out.
Right on, man. Yeah, I signed up to this yesterday. I'm looking forward to seeing more from the project. Who you got working on it? Is that something you can talk about yet?
Oh yeah. So I have the artist is Dario Carrasco Jr. He is a industry veteran. He worked for Marvel as a fill-in artist for a lot of stuff. He also did some of their Canadian books like North Star and Alpha Flight.
Okay.
And
can we find him on Twitter or?
Yeah, he's very much a boomer. So his Twitter, his Twitter is Pandia Boss. Hold on a sec. I'll grab. Where is it?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to.
I just signed up for that as well. So.
Thank you so much. Where are you here, Dario? And he also did for Dark Horse. He did all the Star Wars comics back in the day.
Blimey!
Oh, okay.
Serious talent.
Nice,
yeah. He did the Tales of the Jedi, and I think he did like 4 series of that. I actually have 2 of them myself, and he also did a full series for North Star. That's his Twitter handle that I just dropped in there.
You're seeing more and more people, more and more creators just going, screw this. I'm not being pushed around. I'm just going to go and work with people I like. I don't care where they come from, what they decide. I don't give a monkeys. I'm going to go out there and do some work because, it's so good to see people just say, sod it.
Yeah. And he and I have been friends for years now, like growing back like almost 8 years, I think now.
Wow.
And just a really great guy and someone who I think was an unappreciated talent in the industry. One of those guys too who suffered from being too successful in the wrong things, where he was building his career in comics and really getting underway, and then he got an office job that just paid him too much money.
Yeah,
and so he moved away from it a little bit. Always was artistic. Always was still doing the art and all that kind of stuff, but it became a side gig instead of his main gig. Otherwise, he'd be right there with Art Bear and all the guys that we love.
I just followed him. He's got some great work on there.
I'm checking it out. I'm like, dude, this is going to be so perfect for your noir book too.
Yeah,
Bandito. I mean, it's absolutely
lovely.
Yeah, this guy is nice, man. I followed him on Twitter. Yeah, he's gonna find his fan base growing quickly through this process with you.
I genuinely believe that. He is ComicsGate adjacent, so he's actually been working on a lot of. He's been working on a lot of independent books, but all the wrong books and stuff that hasn't really taken off or got him noticed. That's actually him drawing his wife.
I saw that. That's cool.
He's
it reminds me of a She a little bit. Tucci's character.
100%. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Well,
good
now
stuff,
I hate him. He's got it all.
Yeah.
Man, it reminds me of how much I miss old Dark Horse Star Wars. Like Dark Horse Star Wars. Alien comics. And like the Terminator and Predator books or Terminator. And what is it?
The covers to those old Star Wars books were gorgeous, man. They had like great artists.
Yeah. Nice, man.
I'm
looking forward, down the road, certainly looking forward to having you on the show and we can really delve into the project. Want to thank the whole panel for being here, hanging out. Good discussion. Kind of took it all over the roadmap in terms of the cloud. And want to thank the chat for being here, contributing as always. We're gonna finish it out with this little video. But we will be back tomorrow. We're going to try again to do ComicsGate Pictionary tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to attempt to jump in the mix on that. I've got a little drawing tablet. It's a cheapie. I have no idea how to use it, so it's going to be hilarious watching me try to do that. So that should be a good time. So hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great day. Hail and Wamet.
Bye, everyone.
Now here you go again, you say.
Whoa. That's one of them condors, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Woohoo! That's freaking badass.
It's like, where have you been all my life?
Right? Nothing for a perch up here. This is awesome.
People are awesome. It's easy to forget that sometimes, but
yeah,
you shouldn't. The
There's
world
that spirit
is
of
awesome.
adventure.
Yeah, man. There's so much great shit out there. All right, guys. See you later.